Welcome, everyone, to Sysco Canada's webinar series. We're super excited today to share with you one of our new Cisco Advantage partners, Optimum Control. So I have Travis today going to share with us a little bit of what Optimum Control is. But Travis, first of all, welcome to our webinar.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for
Excellent.
having me. I'm excited to be here as well. Yeah, we're going to go over Optimum Control and what it has to offer for all the different hospitality operations out there.
Excellent. Excellent. So what we'll do is we're going to jump right into it because no need to hear us chat about it too much. Let's get into the cool things that it offers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up the screen here. And we're going to pull that out. And there you go. I'm going to send it over to you, Travis.
Perfect. So Optimum Control, really what it is it's an easy to use tool that manages your inventory in two different aspects: the costing side of things, and then the ins and outs of the actual inventory itself. The best way to kind of explain this is to pull up the main report. So this report here is an actual versus theoretical. It's what we call our usage summary. So basically, to kind of put it all in a nutshell, Optimum Control will take opening to closing inventory. That could be done through sheet to shelf inventory lists. We have something called OC Mobile, which will allow you to use an iOS device that could either scan barcodes or just quickly click on the screen and then import the numbers back in. Cuts down inventory time in about a half of what it physically takes normally with pen and paper. We have the purchases, which we'll get into more detail, but we are partners with Sysco, so we're able to import the purchases that you make, which also change your costs. So every recipe that you put into Optimum Control will update every time you import a purchase to today's cost that you bought the ingredients for.
Travis, one of the
Oh,
things I'm going to jump in here for some questions here for our viewers. One of the biggest things that I've been talking about with a lot of people is the importance around knowing your cost during these times on a daily basis, because we know restaurants will have different percentage of occupancy that they're allowed in there as they open up. This will be a big asset to them to help them with those daily numbers of their operations within food cost and also their inventory and everything, correct?
oh, absolutely. It's the huge aspect of this. I mean, it's even more importantly now, but like they've always said, labor and food costs is the two most important factors of the business that you could actually adjust.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing your food costs and how it's changing daily in these times is a huge feature. Uh, as I was saying, when you bring in your purchases, it updates all of your costs. So it's as easy as just pulling up a report that simply puts in your goal food costs. You generate this. This is based off 30%. Well, how quick was that? Now I know everything that I'm selling that's above that target cost. So
And this is something you could do every morning. I know we used to run them at night, but they could
Mhm.
review this every morning, go through, make any adjustments to recipes or to their menu pricing, to really make sure they're not losing anything. Because, like to your point earlier, you're going to have to know your daily food cost. I believe as you transition back into, I guess, the new normal of what we see after we all open.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it fluctuates too, and who's to say
Hmm.
what's going to happen down the road? So our tool is an easy platform to get the numbers that will update your costs, but also to the other side of things, track the goods itself, because waste, over portioning, those things also have a really big impact to what's happening with the operation. So with this report, you're also pulling in from your POS system what you should have used based off recipes that could be preloaded into the system. You have a place that you could enter your waste daily, and all that factors in to give you your net variance. So, if you're using stuff that you shouldn't, or there's misportioning, all that kind of stuff. So it's the two factors that are most important to us, and we make it the easiest to get out of our software: cost of
Hmm.
goods and your tracking of your on hands.
And to be able to pull those, I don't know if, so I apologize, we already talked about being able to pull that electronically from Cisco's systems to be able to update that instantly when you get your orders across is such an asset as well.
And it's two directions as well. So this does have a platform where it will actually set up things like par level. So you could actually set your min and max on target items. So when you hit your on hand less than the minimum, it's going to tell you, hey, you have to order these set ingredients. The purchase order in our software will actually render in a format that will work with the online ordering tool. But that makes the whole process a lot easier. On the other end, coming back down, it's a simple digital invoice that we just import in. It notifies you of any price changes that happened in the invoice and saves the quantity on hand. So again, it's building this report a lot easier. This is what most people are after for tracking inventory, is their actual versus theoretical.
And this will work with takeout and delivery. There's no concerns on that.
Oh, it actually, one thing that I'm seeing a lot of people doing these days is with the detail of the recipes, a lot of people are putting in the actual takeout containers. So
Nice.
something as simple as a raw ingredient that you're buying anyways factors into the overall cost of goods of what you're offering the dish for.
You know, it's important because we also know a lot of restaurants are going to be opening up and not maybe having cutlery and regular plates, that they also may have to account their costs within disposable plates and cutlery and cups, right? There's a whole notion around that. So not only takeout, but even for when in-house opens up again as well.
Absolutely. All of that stuff will be taken into consideration for usage and the cost. So it's all laid out nicely. Uh, in terms with the recipes as well, you could go as far as detailing specs, pictures, all kinds of stuff with these recipe cards. So it's very intuitive, but powerful and easy to use.
Very exciting, and very useful. I can't stress, and I'll be doing a lot of shows coming up regarding the importance of knowing your numbers. And I just know because I always reference kind of like a restaurant business, like a puzzle.
Hmm.
Every piece of it connects together to make a big, beautiful picture. Same as our business. We know that the size of the restaurant should equal the size of your menu, the amount of patrons you can put through, your amount of table, your food cost, your labor cost. And I believe even takeout and delivery accounts for that because we don't have a full occupancy inside our restaurants right now, that we're going to have to counter that with a takeout business that we're maybe adapted to or introduced. So very important to know your costs, and really to have a system like this, I think, is important. And I think also on this, Travis, is the fact that it's so simple, because a lot of restaurants are not going to be opening up with the 100 menu items anymore. It's going to be fractional on how many menu items they're going to have on there, because you don't want patrons necessarily, one, you probably don't want it, but you probably won't feel safe for patrons to stay in there for a long period of time. So they may want something simple to get in, to have a little bit of that experience back to normalness, to the new normal, but to really grasp something quick, eat, enjoy, and then go. Large menus right now, I think, will disappear through this process, which will help inputting recipes into this. Do you want to kind of show us how that's done, possibly?
Yeah. There's a couple aspects to that. Well, while you were talking there, there's one report that knowing your numbers. Let's start with that. Menu engineering is another aspect to the tool that will give you your profitability versus popularity on every single dish within the system. So it's a very good tool. Before we get to that, though, actually, let's look at a recipe. Uh, Basically, within our system, there's two tiers of recipes. There's a prep, and then there's a product. So a prep would start as anything batch, anything you're making from scratch, but using as a component of a final recipe. So starting with this, you'll have, let's say, chili. You'll have your detailed recipe in here. It's just as simple as converting ingredients right on the go. All of this is pulling over the cost from the raw items from what you're purchasing to give you a complete cost of the overall dish, or in this case here, the whole pot of chili for 1 ounce of chili. Within this stage, you could do things like methods and pictures. So loaded within here, you could have how to make it, what it should look like, what's in it. It has the date and timestamp on it. So if you edit this down the road with different costing, it'll change your methods and pictures as well.
Mhm.
We could even go as far as doing nutritional analysis. So you could tag everything towards the Canadian Food Guide. This recipe here could just be calculated. A nutritional label could be printed. So further
And
to
that,
what you're saying.
yeah, you know what? That's great, because I know a lot of restaurants will have retail as well now. and some have converted to retail, products within their restaurants now, or turned their restaurants into a small mini grocery store or a pop-up store. As to what we've been working with a lot of customers, they can put that label right on that product, right from
Absolutely.
this, right? Like that's so valuable, and even to a point where it you could add it to some of your takeout products as well. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, it gives you that little, I guess, additional confidence within your consumer of what you're giving them is also nutritional, from what your menu has said. But I think that's awesome idea. Awesome.
We see a lot of restaurants with sauces. That's kind of where it all
Yeah,
started. On the side of the cash register, here's the sauce you had on your wings. You can take it to go. And then once it passes a law, it was something we focused on. But it's something that you can do or you could leave off for now. But it's a powerful tool because it also gives you weight to volume conversions. So you could use each ingredient by cups or pounds. So it has a lot of options within there.
yeah, which
Uh,
is great because I have heard that most recipes nowadays needs to be done by weight opposed by ounces and stuff. It's more accurate when you go into a weight format. I've been told. So
mhm.
our listeners out there, I've just heard this. It isn't my idea, but I've heard this when it comes to convert or doing recipes. You got to do by weight.
Yeah, it's different everywhere you go, but
Yeah.
I find that. So this is the product now. So if we were to take a look at something like the bowl of chili, this would be the end result. So here's 6 ounces of that prep we were just looking at. It's 41 cents for this portion that's going into the bowl. Again, if we redo the invoice with ground beef, beans, everything that goes to make the chili, it's automatically changing all the processes. So I could see the pot of chili is going to go up in cost, but then again, I could see the bowl of chili that's in front of us here. Maybe one day it was a 30% food cost, which was our target. Things kind of went up in cost, but we've never changed the selling price. Now we're sitting at 31. In this case here, it's only 28% though, so we're still good. So you could see it's adding all the costs. We're at $1.13. We're at $4, so it's 28% food cost tagged to the POS. So it's going to pull in all of the theoretical usage of what you sold. So we know what you should have used based on this recipe. We could go as far as recipe instructions and pictures on this end of things as well, how to portion it and plate it. And then there's that nutrition. If you wanted to calculate the last portion, this will produce one portion size worth of the bowl of chili that can be printed to a label.
That's
So
awesome.
very
Very
detailed
awesome.
and easy.
So,
Uh,
how do I like? What kind of system do I need to operate this on?
it is a PC based operating system. So
Yep.
anything, in the last couple of years, any kind of PC or laptop, it does work best tethered with a POS to get the theoretical usage. It doesn't have to be on the same server, but same network as whatever your POS is running.
Okay. So any POS, pretty much.
Almost all the traditional ones.
Okay.
We do have a list on our website of the ones that are automatic fully. In some cases, we do work with POS systems that are not automatic, but you could still bring in a file manually.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. Do you want to show anything else regarding some other tools or cool things within it? What
Yeah,
about if I?
actually.
What if the one thing I know, because I know Optimum Control quite well, is what happens if my chef doesn't show up and I need to place an order?
Yes. So as we were saying before, this has some really good tools built into the usage. So I can do things like order reminders, where I could create a PO based off those pars I was explaining before. So I could set up a min and max when the chef is there. They might have a good idea of what they go through, so they could put the min and max in. Anytime I could just run this, which will show me my quantity on hand against those numbers. So that will prepare the purchase order.
Okay.
Uh, a lot of people still prefer a form to walk around with, especially in
Yep.
that case. So an inventory order form is printable by vendor or sorted by area, but you're going to get all the items, who you get them from, order code, how they're received,
Hmm.
how much you should have on hand, so you could do a quick spot check. But my favorite is right here. You have the average use per day based on the POS. So if I have 20 of them and I only go through one a day, well, it's if it's perishable, it's going to go bad before I could use it. So it's valuable numbers to have in front of you when it's time to order.
Yeah, and it's nice to have both options because I know a lot of restaurants will write down on their whiteboards in the back what they're short of or they're ran out of, and if I can go across, fill it out either through my computer or I can fill it out on a whiteboard or a check sheet. That's very valuable, very easy to do.
Mhm. Well, speaking to this, actually, there's one feature that I think is going to be huge in the upcoming future. As this stuff is going with takeout, and it excites me. This is our catering module built into the
Okay.
software. Catering is a loosely used term in this because it's used for many different things. Essentially, this tool gives you an opportunity to take the current cost of anything that you currently have, put it in here against how many people you're serving and what you want to charge with your costs exposed. So essentially, if I was running a party with one of my current customers, you could have a log of all the customers, add them in on the fly if you wanted to. We'll just call it a party, do it on site, put it towards our catering group. So that way we could sort all the reports,
Mhm.
serve time, end time, all that kind of stuff. How many people we're going to serve. So let's say we're serving 100 people. And right now I have $10 per person, but we'll come back to that. So if the customer on the phone said that they wanted to have cheeseburgers, Caesar salad, and bowls of chili, something simple, and it's 100 of each, well, because we're updating the cost of goods of each of those dishes, we should have the exact cost of doing this whole package. And we know there's 100 people coming. So all we have to do is cost per person based off of 30% or whatever the goal is. We know we have to charge 13.76. We'll do $14 per person, save this event. Where this becomes very exciting for me, because I've done a lot of this in my past life, working in back of house, sorting out first off the confirmation. Here's what you're offering, when the event's happening, how much it's going to cost, spot for a deposit. Especially if catering is something new that you're just starting because of what's going on. This gives you the tools you need to do it right. With that, once it's ordered, you're able to break down a shopping list. So, like I was showing you with the other orders, this is what you need specifically for this catering job. So this could be added to what you're going to buy already. So you buy just enough, not too much, not too little, and it doesn't catch you off guard. Where, oops, we have this party we forgot to order for. At the time of the event, you could do a prep list. So it scales everything. I have to chop 33, almost 34 heads of romaine to have enough lettuce to do all the Caesar salads.
Mhm. Very useful when we start looking at restaurants moving to a lot of catering. Obviously the takeout and go is big, but when they start looking at larger functions, or when we're getting into, I guess, mid-size functions that we're allowed to, I do see more and more catering growing through this, and I've read a lot that that will be definitely an area that restaurants will start venturing into to cater outside of their operations. So very good, very very useful tool.
And a lot of times it's something lacking. And what we do proper with this is that you could extract your stock. And what will happen is that first report I showed you at the beginning here with what you should have used. Well, what happens with kitchens is if you do open up and you have direct sales through your restaurant, but you do the same catering out of the same kitchen, how was it managed on both teams? So this pulls the numbers together to see, hey, this much went through your catering, this much went through your sales. There's your total usage. So it's transparency. That's the big thing with our software.
Yeah, and I think that's, like I said back earlier many times, it's just the transparency and knowing your costs is going to be so critical moving forward. Using systems like this, it's just outstanding. So let's talk a little bit about the deal that we have here within Cisco Advantage. So let me see if we can pull that screen up here. There we go.
Yeah. So it's a good deal. What we're offering right now is normally with our software, there's a $500 upfront fee to start. With this package, I'm showing it's OC Professional, and that would normally be a $99 a month subscription. With this promotion we have right now, it's a 12-month commitment, but we're waiving the $500 upfront fee. So it's just the $99 to start. And we're also including 1 hour of training which will be one-on-one with a trainer, and that would be recorded, so we could give you the video afterwards.
Perfect. So what do they do? Do they contact this number and go to your website? How do they start right away getting going on Optimum Control?
Yeah, all means. So there's the phone number. There's our website, which is www.trackrite.net. We could have that available. But basically, there's many ways to contact us. But we could set up a presentation, so we could actually do a one-on-one meeting to show how this works, explore your operation, make sure we fit all your needs, and kind of go from there. And we do a 30-minute install, and away we go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So that is wicked. We're so happy to have you as a part of our Advantage program, Travis, and we've been waiting a long time to have Optimum Control on board and to be able to provide our customers a platform that's going to be there's multiple uses for it, but really at the end of it, it helps our customers understand what they got to do to charge their food costs, labor costs, all those important costs they need to be aware of all the time, every day. They're going to know that by having a system like this. So thanks again for everything you guys are doing, and we're so happy to have you on board as a partner.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you. We're happy to be your partner as well, and happy to work forward with this.
Excellent. Well, thanks again. And for everyone else, we're going to bring more Advantage Partner webinars and podcasts as we move forward through this. We have partnered with so many great companies like Optimum Control here over the last little bit, and we're going to continue to bring you more and more great information and great resources to help you with your business. So once again, Travis, thanks again for your time today. For everyone else, continue to check out what we have on foodiesunite.ca. We have a snapback toolkit on there that's going to show you every resource you can think of out there. I think we've covered every corner that you need to get your feet back on the ground here and get back into the business when your provincial governments are going to allow you to get back in there. We got great articles, great resources, and we'll continue to bring you more and more as we can and find you every tool we can. It's just really important that we help you. So once again, Travis, thanks again for your time today. We love Optimum Control. We're happy to have you on board. And everyone else, you have a safe and careful day. Thanks so much.